Good morning, everyone. It's Beth Kozik from Elegant Greetings. It's Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, so time for another catalog Copycat cards. First things first, let's pick our winner from last week. This is the card that I made, this beautiful deer with the cutouts, the green and the gold. Turned out so pretty, I just love it. So I'd like to thank everybody who commented on YouTube and also on Facebook. Remember that you do have to leave a comment so I can enter you into the raffle. So let's pick our winner. And our winner this time is Nanette. So Nanette, I will mail this card to you on Monday. So thank you so much. All right, today's project comes from our annual catalog, and we are going to make a tag this time, not a card. So we're going to make this tag right here, which is made from the Snowman Season Bundle, which is right here, page 63. There is a stamp set as well as a coordinating punch. And here's what that looks like. So here's the stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set and the coordinating punch. So this punches out the snowman, the hat, the nose, and the twig arms. Isn't that cute? And this bundle is, let's see what this price is. Actually, this isn't a bundle. So the stamp set is $18 and the punch is $18. So that is a very nice value for what is received. Also, we're going to use the buffalo check stamp to make the background on the actual tag. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to keep my catalog here handy on the side so I can follow along. And we will review all of the products that we need for this. So we need Whisper White. This is a craft ink. We're going to stamp the snowflakes with. This is Versamark ink, which is just a clear sticky ink that we'll use to get a tone on tone using that buffalo check stamp set. And then the Memento ink, we're going to stamp the snowman. I did a little bit of blends coloring, so we just use plain black ink for that. And this is the black and white twine from the Playful Pets suite. And we have our detailed trio punch. We're going to use that corner rounding end there. We have the banner triple punch to do our notch on the red piece. And we have some red rhinestone basic jewels and just a regular circular punch. And then our pieces, we need a scrap that is about 3/4 inch wide, and the length won't matter because we're going to be punching that off, so approximately 5 inches or so. A scrap of pumpkin pie, a few scraps of Whisper White, and then the base of our tag is crumb cake, 2.5 by 5 inches. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is all of our stamping. So craft ink is a pigment ink, so it's a thicker ink. It does take a little longer to dry than a water-based ink does. So we are going to, first actually we're going to stamp with the Versamark. We're going to do our buffalo check stamping. Okay, so this is a huge stamp. It's an all over. You can see how big the block is to hold it. And when we use a very large stamp like this with a smaller piece of paper, we're actually going to put the paper onto the stamp versus stamping onto the paper. So this we need to have our Versamark ink. And Versamark gives a tone-on-tone look. So any color cardstock that is used just becomes, the ink color just becomes a little bit darker on the cardstock. I'll show you what happens with that in just a second here. So we're going to place this, I inked up the stamp while it's laying up, face up, and then we're going to place our cardstock right onto there, nice and straight. And then I just have a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to lay that over, and then I'm going to rub from the back so that the ink underneath the cardstock will pick up and it will color the cardstock. So I'm just using the scrap paper so that my fingers don't get all full of the Versamark ink. And then I'm going to carefully pick this up. Oh, isn't that nice? So it's a very subtle tone-on-tone color that we get by using Versamark. So it's just a clear ink, but it gives just a tone on tone. That's so nice. All right, so that's our buffalo check. That gives us the nice check background. And now I'm going to take my Whisper White craft ink, and we're going to add some white snowflakes, just randomly all around, like this. Actually, I'm going to make that one a little bit darker. All right, maybe one more here. Okay, that looks good. And we'll set that aside just for a moment to dry. And then our greeting is going to be on our piece of red, real red cardstock. So the first thing we need to do is to cut a notch. We're going to use the Banner Triple Punch to punch first. We're just going to slide this in, and what this does is it gives a perfect notch on the end. Isn't that great? Nice and even. So the first step is to do a punch on the left side, and then I'm going to take the Merry Christmas stamp that goes with this stamp set and ink that up. You can see my photopolymer stamp set at some point either red or pink or orange was used. So unfortunately our photopolymer stamps do get a little bit stained. So there's really no way to prevent that from happening. But it doesn't impact using that stamp afterward. See, the white ink is perfectly fine even though my stamp is a little bit stained. So not a problem there. All right, I'm going to close up my ink. And then pigment ink takes a little bit longer to dry. So we can help this along by using our heat tool. So I'm going to bring that in. This is just a piece of cardboard that has foil over it. And then our heat tool is really great. This is used for heat embossing. So it has two settings, the high and a low. So we're just going to put it on low, which will enable us to just help this ink dry a little more quickly. So if I were embossing, I would be using embossing powder and putting this on a high setting. I did that on a card a couple of weeks ago. But this low setting is great for setting ink like this. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so we'll still set this aside to continue to dry. And then our next step is we want to notch the other end of our real red piece of cardstock. So what I like to do to get this even, if you can see here where I have one notch, I'm just going to put a pencil mark in the space where I want the other mark to be, so approximately right there. And then what we can do with this punch is, I'm going to trim off a little bit of this here, is we can place this right inside the punch with the punch turned over. Of course I need it to be a little bit smaller. And then we can see where that dot is, and that's our guide to know where we want to do our second punch. So I'm just going to eyeball that for evenness. That looks good about there. Okay. And there we go. So now we have a notch on both ends, which is nice and even. All right, the next step we're going to do is we're going to round the corners. Now, the corners are not quite rounded on the sample in the catalog, but I do prefer that look on a tag. It just gives it a nice softer edge. So that's our corner rounder. And then let's see what's next here. Oh, okay, so we want to go ahead and make our snowman. So I've already stamped our snowman on some Whisper White, and I'm going to punch him out with our Snowman Builder Punch. So this is really fun. Watch what happens here. That stamp lines right up in our punch. And all we have to do is punch him out. All right, so there's our snowman. And earlier I went ahead and I stamped and I colored and I punched out the hat and also the snowman arms. So I'm going to apply a little bit of adhesive and we'll attach his arms. The easiest way to attach small pieces is to put a little bit of adhesive on the back like this, and then we'll have his arms stick out like that. He's so cute. There we go. All right, and then his hat, I think we will use a glue dot and put his hat on. So I'm going to put a glue dot right on his head. All right, and that will help that pop up just a smidge as well. Okay, so that part is done. And oh, also I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to his hat, or her hat, maybe it's a her. So I'm going to put these red rhinestones, just one maybe. I'm using my U-Pick tool, or take your pick tool. Oops. All right. There. I think that's really cute. Adds just a little bit of sparkle. All right, and then last, well, we're almost done. We have a couple more things to do. The next step will be to punch out the nose. So I'm going to again bring in our snowman builder and take this small piece of pumpkin pie, and there's that little tiny nose that we're going to use to put on our snowman. So tiny. All right, and then I'm going to use just a drop of our green glue, and there we go. Isn't that cute? These builder punches are so fun, the fun things we can build with them. All right, there's our snowman. All right, and then on the bottom of our card, there are some like hills. So like mounds of snow. I'm going to add some adhesive onto these and then position them kind of on an angle like this. And then this one is, this might need to go up just a smidge. And then that one is off to the side like that. And then this big one goes into the middle. So I'm going to add, and these are just circles that I punched out of, or I used a die to cut on my cutting and embossing machine. And like that. All right, and then I'm going to take my scissors and just trim the extra off. Nice and easy. Okay, and then I think we need to punch a hole at the top of this tag so I can add some ribbon. And the twine is, yeah, it's twine, not ribbon. So I'm going to cut maybe about that much or so. This would be really cute tag to put onto a bottle of wine or any gift, really. They show it in the catalog attached to a small bottle of wine. I think that's a really nice idea. So I'm going to tie the ribbon on like that so that can be attached to the gift. And then our snowman, of course, we have to pop him up. So we'll use some dimensionals. I keep calling him a him, but I think he's a her. What do you think? All right, there's 3 dimensionals. And then our last step will be to add our greeting. So we'll put that about there. Oh, I'm just loving that. Look, so cute. And then our Merry Christmas goes along the bottom. And then we'll be finished. So I think I'll also add dimensionals onto there. Probably just need 2. And then we'll be done. Look at how cute. There we go. And the ink is dry, so we're good there. Isn't that adorable? So quick and easy. You could easily make a bunch of these and add them to all of your holiday gifts. So if you'd like a chance at winning this, please be sure to leave a comment so I know that you watched on YouTube. and or Facebook. And good luck, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.